Oh, all right. Good morning, everyone. This is Michael Venezia, head trader and one of the coaches at TradeView Markets. It is Wednesday, third day of the quarter, and I'll stop using the the beginning of the quarter. There was so much pent up into the end of the quarter. This being, October 5th, as I just said. Everything goes out the window now. It's almost like when we had the interview going back. Let me sign into TradeView Markets for a second here, so I can specifically point to what I'm talking about. And I log in just the same as everybody else to digress. And good morning, everyone. Let me pause this. We want Mike. We got Mike. All right. Go to the red YouTube button. Best feature we have all on TradeGATEHub. Go to videos. It gives you our playlist. Coach and I are doing one every day now. We're doing one on Tuesday and Thursday. So tomorrow, Coach and I will be on at 11. They're still taking oil up. SLB breaking out. Schlumberger with big volume. We'll get into that in a second. I digress again. All right. So just like I was saying, the first Thursday Coach and I had on together, which was last Thursday, we were talking about how the market had pulled back so much that it would kind of reset our thinking, and we were surprised. And you know what? Coming into this Wednesday, as I go to a quick chart, and actually, let me sign out of here and get ready to show our routine, if you will, before we really get into specific charts. So this being my good morning, my sign. So let's go right here. Charts. All right. This day here, we were surprised about how spy. I was looking. I knew that wasn't it. All right. How much the market? See this big green bar here. How much the market had given back and then tested and broke new lows. I don't think we're at that same place yet. I don't know if I'm exactly as surprised that we're pulling back this way as I'll show a partial of my screen. I'll show my whole screen. I'm not shy. This is where we have today. SPYs are, down 5. Now they're in a gap. Microsoft, Apple, it's nowhere near the low we tested a couple of days ago, which was 138, sitting at 140. The VIX is still below 30. Where's the VIX? I use it as a trading vehicle. I don't like to use it as an indice, if you will. So VIX is 29.81, so still hovering below there. There's the chart of the VIX. All right, PayPal, I'll give an example of relative strength. PayPal, the last 2 days, has made a move of, it's 85. It's made a $15 move. Trust me, it looks more than it is. So a $15 move when the NASDAQ has made a 2-day move, the best move it's made since 2020. Given that that's not that impressive, considering that all the stats we've been hearing as of late, bond market moves since 1970, a pull back in certain commodities, and the dollar making unprecedented move back since the 80s. So, the 2-day NASDAQ game going back with this volatility now being somewhat elevated, arguably, between 25 and 32. That type of move is not that impressive to me. So my point being is, when we go to something like a PayPal, which has made a $15 move, and the fact it's down $1.65, that's not really that bearish to me. You know what I mean? It's above a lot of the moving averages. It's starting to a little curl up. So it's a time to really, I'm starting to, every time I think I'd like to position, I actually took some off on the fund yesterday into the 2-day run up. I didn't take some off long term because I thought we would get, and maybe I went, I was going by price action. The market, closed well. And I thought that we were going to have that third day, Monday being the first day of the quarter, yes, Tuesday being the second, today being Wednesday. I thought we'd have my 3-day rule where maybe they'd, push the shorts, a little bit more, to one other push. And you could see by my screen, I don't really have anything that's choking me, except due to a couple of cheap stocks, which is my new one of my newer rules, outside of not to be repetitive, but it'll never get old. Believe me with this rule, especially when a vet says it, veteran trader. When the VIX goes over 30, no overnights and no more trading under $4 or $5 stocks. That's still ambiguous with me, but $4 stocks is the lowest I go. So let's go back into some of the routine. And right now it's good stock picking and good trading. There's good movements and there's good group movements. The oils are moving with themselves. The metals are moving congruently. A couple of low floaters are still popping. The Chinese stocks actually acted well this morning. Bob was up a couple of dollars. They gave it back. Tesla right now is testing 230. Let me just go to this chart again. Here's the Tesla chart. Look at this. I mean, it just shows you what's today's date. The 5th, as I said. This is October. Hold on, let me take off my charts. Remove off. This is October 5th. And as of September 21st, Tesla was 314. You're giving back 20% plus. A couple of weeks trading, 20%. Stocks, this is unprecedented moves. So let's look at the chart on Microsoft, not testing two lows in the gap. I'll wait to see if this, I don't want to say Microsoft is not really the gauge of what a short squeeze stock would look like. But you know what, considering that going back to even a month and a half ago at investing.com, and everybody was posting the most heavily shorted NASDAQ stocks were going to predominantly comprised of the Qs. There was Apple, Google, Intel, Nevada, Amazon, Meta. So, we have to keep in mind that I normally wouldn't use Microsoft as a squeeze stock, but this chart is really emblematic of what's going on with the other ones. Let's look at Apple. Same thing as Microsoft. No new low, yet to be determined. If the bottom was put in, did put some nice volume. It's in the gap. So I'm a waiter. Waiter means, no, I'm not a waiter at night to make up my bad trading. No, I'm going to wait. And I'm not making light of anybody that does. I've seen people that do it and succeed, by the way, if anybody's doing that. So we're coming into earnings season. The beginning of next week. I posted our economic data coming throughout the week. So let's wait a little bit. There's very good tactical trading. Swing trading's out of the picture. You want to start putting pieces, some money to work. I have as well. I certainly am in the same position I was last Thursday. I'm right. I'm a little bit more, I'm not as reluctant, but I'm still as cautious. I'm not fearful, but I'm somewhat anxious. Here's a stock that I gave up that I like. This one's IMVT. And this is giving an example of don't trade on RSI. This stock I had from like 722, and it was yesterday, and I took it off because I thought the market was overbought. But here's the RSI, still at 84. It still can go. I don't know. I sold it let's go to the 4-minute chart if I will. I sold it yesterday nicely. I sold it like 821, but it took, and for those active traders, this stock is in everybody's query. Stock's trading, it's huge volume relative to itself and huge volume relative to what's going on in the rest of the market. Pardon me. It's a stock that I give the ultimate compliment to. I wouldn't short it. So, I mean, even if you're if you're a patient and tactical trader, and it says IMVT took out a new high, 9 to 937 is not bad. Maybe if he anticipated a little bit and took at that bar at 885 and didn't wait to the new high, but certainly a stock that can look like 10 and go to the whole number. Other stocks like AEM, the miner I mentioned yesterday with Coach, huge up days and giving one day back. What are we going to do here? Is it one more pullback, or is it good here at the 50 day? And that's another metal, the AGQ, that we have a position here. You know what I mean? The stock in 3 days went from 20 to 26. I should say the triple ETF, not the stock. Now it went from 25.70 to 22.70. I should have been bidding for it near the 50 day for feeler, because it is a hot metal, is an up and up trend. All the moving averages are curling up and the volume's there. Like I always say, I don't care, make widgets. This type of chart action and movement and rotation is something you have to have your eye on. So let's look what the wise guys are doing. This is a Cano, a lot of volume going here. Robinson Cano. Actually, it's a healthcare stock. And if you're even on the private Jesus feed, there's been a ton of calls going in Cano. So you know what? I have some. I think I have I have 8,000 shares, 7,000 shares. It's not big. If it gets over the 957, I do have a stop limit. That means a stop limit if it hits that 957, and I just put a stop order, and I don't put a limit in, and the next print is 11, and it could, because it only has 1.3 million today. Put a limit in. I put a buy stop 957, limit of like 972. I have it cheap, so I'm not going to let it. It's not like I'm initiating the trade, so I can afford to pay up a little bit to average into it. So that's something like that. A lot of calls going in there. Let me go back to TGH for a second. I like to welcome in Flag, a veteran trader and close friend of mine who's not in, actually doesn't participate this much, but he's in. He's in a lot more, but we're going to get him in live sooner than later. Do I have any questions so far? We're not missing much, but it's 11:10 now Eastern. Any questions? I will start here. First of all, obviously, this being Wednesday, I said it 3 times, 4 times maybe. Go back to the videos and start Monday, because Monday is the most amount of data that I put out. And it's data that's relevant to Tuesday and Wednesday. It's almost like, as you see that the tactical sentiment is overbought or oversold. I want you to get this type of internal clock, if you will, but no, you don't always have to rely on some sentiment chart. You'll get a feel for that, and it'll just make your plan get even more concise, and you can move on to other things like stock picking. So listen to what we said Monday and Tuesday. All right, time to buy. Time to buy what, Lewis? Time to buy what? You know what I mean? I give you all the indicators here, and this is how I sign on. Good morning. That's what I say. And my man has it, Gerard, the CPC E was pinned the other day down low to most oversold in 30 years. Now, all of a sudden, we're back up. That's the movements we're seeing. So read this. The Rev had a good point. Well, the buyers step up this morning. The pattern recently is that with the big bounces, reversed a straight down. So far, they've been somewhat straight down. They opened down and then went down further. IPO Dave, read at your own time. If you didn't already, you should have already went through this data. But this is the sentiment we came in today. So if I'm saying, where's my internal clock? The thing what's keeping indexes, hold on. Yeah, I appreciate that, Lewis. I got you. The thing that's keeping, the tactical sentiment even somewhat elevated, and if you saw my screen before, is the oils are all positive and nicely too. And it looks like they're still, they went from breaking down to breaking out. I'll even give an example right here, just so to edify my point. Charts. Exxon. Oxy was below the 8-day, the 21, and the 50-day. 4 days ago, 5 days ago. Chevron Chevron looks, even go to the weekly. Chevron looked like it was going low. Chevron looked like it was going like right here to 134. But Chevron recovery didn't go to 134. My mom's going to yell at me. Went from 140, building a flag over the gap now at 157. The compliment is I wouldn't short it. But I would said this, and look, guys don't have a thick skin. I wouldn't buy it down here either. So it gives you the move on Chevron. LVS is our stock. We like it. I don't think everybody can complain about it. It's kind of a crowded thought now. Everybody likes it. There's the gap right here. If you can see this pointer, 41.52. I wouldn't be surprised if it hangs around 40 near the strike price. That's a position. That's not a trade. Going back to TGH here. All right. SPY, like I said before, biggest 2-day rise since 2020. Not impressive. It's only 2 years. The dollar and the bond market, like I said, have been maybe making decades unprecedented moves. A picture of my screen. Just look at it today. All right, forward. A Jesus note. Fear and greed. Fear and greed. A week ago it was 17, so it basically doubled. Fear and greed. And you know what? The market made a 2-day move like it felt like it did. But, it's not where we are. It's where we're going. Goldman Sachs equities, color reason. Go over it. Weekly advisor sentiment. Weekly, not daily. Morning rundown by the Goldman Trading Desk. Value added always upgrades and downgrades. Mike Santoli, depending on the thickness of your pencil, no pun intended. There's this chart on the Qs, and we came in a little bit. So right now, if you can go to, I'll even go to this chart. Here we are in the gap on the Qs to compliment Miss Helene, and she deserves a lot of compliments. So listen, we're right there. We're right on the 8-day, 275. Then I'll go to a 5-minute chart. Right here at the gap again, 275. We're stuck between 275, 279. Even go back here. So you know what? It's probably going to go to some stock picking instead of indexes to answer Lewis's question on here. I'm not really an index guy, but I'm a stock picker. But this is it's self-explanatory, Lewis. And I don't want to sound. Listen. I'll give you an opinion if I want about which way the indexes are going, but I don't give it. Indexes are. It's a coin flip. What I do is I gauge stock moves and relative stocks within those relative index predicated upon if they're moving higher. If the futures are moving, run up 50 handles, and the XLV index, the healthcare index didn't go, that shows relative weakness. Maybe I'll short it. I'll keep a note of it, whatever. What was I going to put here? No, it's Helene's chart. Okay. I don't have an opinion on the indexes, Lewis. I really don't. You know what I mean? The movement from up and down like that has showed so much uncertainty that a call of mine would be somewhat professional. I could probably convince you it would be egregious because I don't know. But there was today's plan. I gave you today's plan, and here's today's calendar to deal, to navigate around that. Here's the chart on Bitcoin, the chart on crude. We're above it now. Sentiment trader. When people, this is the bottom line. When people panic, they sell everything at the same time, and this is the indicator and why we bounced. And it looks right now as more of a short squeeze than more of value of fear of underperforming. Because you know what? I don't think the first 2 days of this at beginning of the quarter rally was because there's plenty of time. Who's the index to make a move like that? There's plenty of time in the quarter, so that was short covering so far. Liz Saunders, get a gauge at that. I love stats. I literally love stats. Elf Beauty Supply, I actually like that. TTD and Snow, there's a question for a gentleman. I'll give you a second, Lewis. Futures ripping. Oh no. Snap, not ripping. Index, noggin, not ripping. My stocks are not ripping. So this is what I'm seeing. I'll digress. So the market right now, it's not really ripping. Here's what I see on the SPYs. So the SPYs are popping a little bit, basing at 371 to 372. But when I see, by the way, if they get over this gap here at 372.72, even going to here, that's something to think about. When I see that, I go, boom. As you know, I have my own queries, but I go to this stock scanner. Stocks moving up now as of 11:18. What's moving up now? Nordstrom, Western Digital's been up. So a couple of retailers, Nordstrom, Blue Biotech. So this is what I look for. STX is moving up. So if STX is moving up, I see the Western Digital is doing. If I see if Nordstrom's moving up, I see what Macy's and Kohl's are doing. If I see Home Depot's moving up the last, then I take a look at lows. So I mean, for the very short term, they're going into some of retailers. I have so many things blinking ahead of me. All right, how about this? This is the only thing we care about. If it is truly stock picking, what's up on high and relative volume, SHPH, 12.4% volume, 120% volume. Actually, 1,200% volume as of. So look at it. Anything here that I have an interest in, INDO. It's a small oil. SHPH. It's a low floater. It went to 200. Tops a shipper. Chewy. Let's look at the time though. PSX oil, XOM oil, APA oil, Slob oil. All oils moving the last up high in relative volume so far. Let's look at Schlumberger, the big breakout stock of the day. Is it too late? Lewis is going to ask me. We should. SLB making a big move, still not overbought. Right above looks like the resistance. You probably wanted to come back and base probably at the 40 again. There's the weekly just breaking out. Jim Cramer's been preaching about Halliburton. I don't know why, because it's a bad laggard. It's still not even over the 200-day, but I get it. I've done worse. Okay, new highs for the day as of 11:20. Floor, Western Dig, P10, a driller, Nordstrom. All right, nothing sexy, but let's look at new lows. I bet you there are things that are sexy as of 11:20. EMPH, they want nothing to do with it. XPEV, Lewis, being an intelligent and mature trader like he is, selling XPEV when it didn't work. You know what, Lewis? It's not how you handle the winners. It's how you handle the losers. Nice sale. XPEV making new lows. EMPH, it's over. Everybody was hiding in that one day down. Boom. Elevator down. Let's look at the tan then. Tan, I wouldn't touch it. Run. I was a seller, thank God. And Run never popped. Run was the worst of breed. It was below all the moving averages, all of them, as every other one, the best ones, if you will, SCDG. Well, SCDG was more semi. EMPH and Fizzler were holding all the moving averages. Fizzler didn't catch it. Fizzler still the last of the Mohicans to hold up, but you know what? I don't know. All right, any other questions? Time to buy. Yep, bought PDD, and I know why. PDD. Gerard, watch the PDD. Bob is not that down that badly. I know why Gerard's in the PDD. JD is still positive. PDD. Let me look at the chart here. You want to know why? Like we say all the time, it doesn't matter what they do. Make widgets. Stocks above all the moving averages. Has held it for some time. It is a very good company, if you want to know. I mean, if you will, for lack of a better term. And let's look at the 10-minute range. I mean, you want it to hold 65, and G Money's right. You don't want probably to go below 64, and it's a 10-minute range. Let me go even longer. And he's good. I understand why G Money's long PDD. You just don't want it to break down, like I said, below probably the 64, because then it could pull like an EMPH. You know what I mean? Go from one of those stocks that acted so well that they just gave up. But that's a product of the market, and you got to hang with. RCL, great range, a great trader for those. From 37 to 44 in 2 days in a what is it trading? 4 million shares, a good trader, good range. It looks better than it is, holding a gap right now. So listen, it's like I said, it's stock picking. The SPYs, the VIX, UNG, natural gas. Everything I hear is everybody's giving up and shorting natural gas. So definitely that was buy the rumor, sell the news. Nobody wants to even touch it. Akamai D-Dog was up 5 yesterday, was down 5 today. You know what I mean? What else? FAS. What a range in this thing. Looks more than it is. 2 range up fast. The ETF 54 to 65. $11. Now I like the FAS here. How could you not like it? This? I like FAS. Holds over 62. It's not a barn burner. Let's look at the wise guys are doing. Leave it off there if anybody has any questions. And by the way, everybody can tell I have a thick skin. I wish Joe was back here, to be honest with you. I miss him. Joe, where are you? But let me go down to what the wise guys are doing. It's all that matters. And if you're not following, listen, I follow 55 people. And if anything is more relevant, it's quality over quantity. These people, I have to go to, if I want to know about futures, I know who I go to. I go to Adam. If I want to know the stocks that low floaters, I go to IT Incredible Trade. The last thing he is a low float specialist. If I want to know about sentiment, I go to Santoli. You know what I mean? If I want to know about current charts or breakouts, I go to the Trend Spider. You know what I mean? Trend Spider post 34 minutes ago. Meta, the trend is your friend. I get it. But you know what I mean. So I want to go with the wise guys are doing with options, and all that matters is option flow, because everybody knows much better than we do. Bed Bath and Beyond bullish. There was bullish yesterday. Amazon's had a lot of bullish flow last 2 days. You have to go to the Amazon chart. I'm not a good Amazon trader. It doesn't mean I won't trade it. But this is the chart of Amazon. I don't know. Gaps everywhere. There's gaps everywhere, but there's option flow. And what am I seeing? The real good part is I want to see going out to like January's, but what are they doing? October 22. They're not really stepping up here. Exxon bullish. Halliburton, okay. Selling Halliburton's bullish. So, yeah, not Halliburton's enough. Update, geez. Coal sweeper showing little interest, no appetite. Apple caught a bullish sweep. Can't really blame buyers for being a little gun shy with the dollar and yields getting back down. And I'm sure Coach did a whole thing on that at 9:30. He's been doing. If he didn't, I'm going to go learn what he did. Go to Coach's video at 9:30. But this is where the updates are. This is a couple of chart. J1 bearish Riven. How did that do? Was that a buy on the dip? That was hot yesterday. I went to buy it this morning. It's hanging around the middle. That was a good one. XBI label hanging in there. CF gave it back. Future's not doing anything. It's Schlumberger is the one for the day. Am I making a comeback here? Snap, I can't get out of it. NVAX killing me. What else? And it is. What a bad hold. A bad hold. I'm mad. Mad at NVAX. I knew it too. The good thing, there's two double-edged swords when you get to be older and a lot seasoned. First of all, all your instincts should be trust more than anything at this level. But don't, it's harder to, you know what I mean? It's harder to break an opinion than a bad habit. Even it's the number one the traders grapple with. Believe me, the last thing you got to worry about here is stock selection at TradeGATEHub, or even cliches, if you will, for that matter. So listen, there's the chart on the dollar. A lot of things are in the gap. There's not a lot of LI bullish flow. That's fine. This morning's active lines are littered with Tesla and Twitter. So that'll get, you know why they littered with Tesla and Twitter? Because they want to trade Tesla. And instead of trading the equity at 233, they're trading the options. At Twitter, it's a lotto play. Why not? You know what I mean? Maybe there's a lot of arbitrage going there. Matter of fact, there probably is. That's an old word, arbitrage. New York Breath, more than 6-to-1 decliners and back-to-back 90% up days. So you know what? And then an OX is bullish. Phase, a low floater, I see. Got no interest. And then OX was up 20% one day. Gave it all back, did it? Not interested in it. You know what? It's 11:25 after on a Wednesday after a 2-day nice run up, and we're giving a little bit back now. This is a time for stock picking and you to be more to do two things, not either stock picking or start to nibble a little bit, no swing trading, just like your homework, right? You're right now after I get off should be stocks making, good moves in range and good volume. And, just the same way, don't be trying to solve anything this Wednesday afternoon, like I said, 11:25. All right. Have a plan, do some homework. There's nothing going to be doing right now anymore. Believe me. We'll see how Europe closes and we'll be back after lunch. Okay. So we sign off a little bit before 11:30 Eastern. Thanks for tuning in. Trade well.